Aloha, movie nerds. Welcome to Why It's Great. I'm your host, Matthew Salanoa, and I made this podcast to celebrate movies and what makes them great. Today is a little bit of a special episode. I'm talking about a very few select scenes of one of my favorite Batman films, Batman Returns. I've got this queued up, but I'm going to be watching a few scenes and basically giving commentary on them. First up, we're looking straight up at the opening of this movie. And here we go. This opening is so fantastic looking. This is such a huge, opulent house. And yet we only spend time in this one room, which is very good writing and storytelling. But look at this, how this first shot. We're close on the actor who's the father of the Penguin. And he has the monocle. And the camera turns and we follow him for a little bit. And then he goes into the distance and we just hear the screaming. So the storytelling is very strong here. Then we're back to the close-up, but it's both parents, and they look at the box with the penguin in it, and he's clearly not 1 year old. He's clearly a little older than one, and this penguin's eating a freaking cat. Look at this amazing, stunning shot of Gotham City in the background, and this sets, this amazing sets. Bo Welch is the production designer, and hats off. I always imagined in my head that was baby Bruce being walked, the White Knight versus the Dark Knight, symbolically speaking. And here we go to the Moses title sequence, which is just amazing to me. And I love that little last look. They still feel bad. They were terrified of him as a kid, but they still feel bad about what they've done. And then you hear the penguin, young baby penguins screaming in terror as he falls into the sewer. What a shocking, horrific ending. With that opening title sequence, when I think about making movies, I think about that. This opening title sequence is so crazy and beautiful and dark, and it's telling a story without words. And this is what I want to do. I love that it's using miniatures and all this, but the photography, the way they shoot it, it looks like it's full size. Danny Elfman's music is so emotional and engaging. And his music is as well is telling the story. This movie looks like an Alex Ross painting. It just happens to be moving in live action somehow. All of this photography is so fantastic. And then this shot in particular, I have always absolutely loved this shot, where we get this little silhouette of the carriage as it goes under the waterfall. And that's just such an amazing shot to me. I can't define why it's so beautiful. But Tim Burton, he was an art student. He knows paintings. He knows art styles. That's why you see such dramatic, distinct art choices in his movies, because he's a student of painting. He's a student of animation, and he's a student of art. I was a huge fan of The Prince of Egypt as a kid. I really love the Moses story. So to me, I know this throws people off, a lot of people, especially, comic book fans. Why the hell is this a Moses story? But to me, because I love Prince of Egypt, I'm reading this 100% as amazing because it's the reverse Moses story. But when you look at this sort of creepy, long journey, this terrifying journey, and it must be terrifying for this baby, even though it is the baby penguin. It must be terrifying for us. I don't know where I'm going or where I'm going to end up. And he just happens to end up in this derelict abandoned zoo where the last ones left are these penguins. So the penguin is deposited to actual penguins. And it's mad, it's crazy. It's a little more calm than the Prince of Egypt, where that baby carriage is literally being rocked between boats and narrowly dodging alligators. It's very exciting because Prince of Egypt for kids is more of an action adventure movie than anything else. To me, Penguin, he's pretty accurate in the cartoon, right? He is just a monocled rich guy who's committing crimes because he can, and it's just not that interesting. I think this whole notion, Tim Burton's notion of the penguin being the reverse Moses, he in fact rejected by the Pharaoh and sent to live with the slaves, or in this case, the animals of a derelict zoo. But I love this notion of like Bruce as a prince of Gotham, and then this is the rejected prince, and the movie is really a battle between princes. One of them will be the king by the end of the story, or a battle between brothers. It's Moses versus Ramses II. That's really how I see the movie. Again, this is why I say that, the battles that Bruce Wayne faces in the Tim Burton movies are unspoken battles, because he's not going to give you a speech about why he's doing what he's doing. But nonetheless, the battle is happening. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when Batman and Penguin meet for the first time. Batman's already beat up a bunch of Penguin's minions, and they run into each other, and Batman asks, "Are you enjoying your handiwork?"
Admiring your handiwork, touring the riot scene, gravely assessing the devastation, upstanding mayor stuff. You're not the mayor.
Seeing these two personalities up against each other, the arrogant depravity of the Penguin versus the cool moral authority of Batman.
You don't really think you'll win, do you? Things change.
Who knows where this scene could have gone, because then Catwoman interrupts. Meow, and blows up the Shrek store.